The Data Act of 2014 starts the U.S. federal government on a path from disconnected documents to searchable spending data. Under the Data Act, the Treasury Department and the White House OMB have developed government-wide data fields to bring together information that used to be separate. Financial information, award information, budget information, payment information. By mapping their existing spending data to these new data standards, agencies can make the whole picture searchable. Today, at the Data Transparency Breakfast, we celebrated some of the first efforts to do that. The Deputy Chief Financial Officer of the Small Business Association, Tim Gribben, showed his agency's first steps toward bringing all of the spending information together in one view. Representing the private sector and the public interest, the Data Transparency Coalition seeks to persuade the government to move from disconnected documents to standardized data. The Data Act of 2014 was our first legislative victory. We're hoping to pursue similar transformations for financial regulatory reporting. The Data Act standards allowed the Small Business Administration to bring together financial information and award information in a single view. That's what makes Data Act standards valuable, not just for external transparency, but for internal management as well.
So the Data Act schema is the structure that the data needs to be in so that Treasury can put it into a common readable form that's consistent with all agencies. The original concept of the data broker was that Treasury would come into the agency's financial systems. The agency would map the data elements from its financial and award system into the data broker. It evolved into defining the 57 data elements and for the agency to produce flat files that then gets put in as an input into the broker. So once the files are input into the broker validates that the data is in the right format, and then it is able to put it into the format, so Treasury's format, that then will be accessible to anybody. So once it's accessible in a data format, then you can place business intelligence tools on top of the data to be able to ask really any kind of question you might have to find out, is the data available for what I want or is it not? And then to be able to figure out what needs to be added, I think, as part of the Data Act. What's the next stage of the Data Act? We're only in the initial implementation of what the vision of Congress was. The Data Act provided a linkage between award data and financial data that I never had from sitting in the CFO's office. So it allows me to ask questions from the program office because I can map the data from an awards level and see where SBA's financial assistance awards are going that I never had that ability to do before. So when you look at place-based programs or policy-based programs, it allows me to ask those questions and find it in the data. Well, the intent is that we would take, so Treasury would take what they've learned from SBA and other agencies to come up with a final broker product that all agencies will be able to implement, and then use the lessons learned from those agencies like SBA that implemented the broker from the pilot phase to be able to come up with a final broker product that will work for all agencies.